You still think a country is a place. That is because you were raised in the industrial age. A country was where you lived. Your company was where your factory stood. Your bank was where your money was kept. Your assets were where you could touch them. One place, one identity, one system. That model is disappearing. Today, your economic life can be distributed. You can live in one country, build your company in another, bank somewhere else, hold investments somewhere else, and serve customers everywhere. I call this jurisdictional architecture. Consider the UAE. For an internationally mobile founder, it can serve as a place of residence and a regional base, with no UAE personal income tax and established residency pathways for entrepreneurs. Then consider Singapore. If you want a serious international operating company, Singapore offers something more valuable than a low headline tax rate: credibility. Infrastructure, rule of law, global connectivity, a sophisticated financial ecosystem, and access to Asia. It is why Singapore continues to appear near the top of international founder comparisons. Then there is Estonia. Not because you want to pretend you live there, you don't. Its e-residency is not tax residency. It is something more interesting: digital administration, an EU company that can be managed remotely, where such a structure actually fits the business. And Switzerland. Switzerland represents another principle, not necessarily the cheapest, not necessarily the simplest, but stability, financial infrastructure, institutional credibility, a place where capital can be structured within a mature legal and financial system. And then you have the fifth layer, the holding and investment structure, the place where long-term ownership is organized: shares, intellectual property, investments, participations, capital. This could be Singapore or another jurisdiction. There is no universal answer, because intelligent architecture begins with the function, not the flag. 5 countries, 5 functions, 1 economic life. Your residence does not need to be your company's residence. Your company's residence does not need to be your bank's jurisdiction. Your bank does not need to be where your investments are held. And your investment structure does not need to be where you wake up every morning. This is what decentralization means: not disappearing, not hiding, not refusing to obey the law, separating dependencies, because concentration creates vulnerability. If one government controls your residence, your company, your bank, your assets, and your economic future, then you have not built freedom. You have built a single point of failure. But there is a warning. Do not confuse complexity with intelligence. A company incorporated in Singapore but actually managed from your bedroom in another country does not magically become Singaporean. A bank account in Switzerland does not make foreign income Swiss. An Estonian e-residency card does not make you an Estonian tax resident. And 5 companies in 5 countries do not create 5 times the freedom. They create 5 times the compliance if you have designed them badly. The old question was, where should I put everything? The new question is, what should each jurisdiction do? Residence, operations, banking, ownership, investment, separate the functions, understand the laws, create genuine substance where required, and never build a structure you cannot explain to a tax authority in 1 sentence. Because the future does not belong to people who hide their wealth. It belongs to people who understand systems. Kings centralized power inside castles. Government centralized power inside capitals. Corporations centralized power inside headquarters. The digital age is different. Power can move. Capital can move. Companies can move. People can move. Intelligence can move. And once power becomes mobile, centralized institutions become much harder to control. That is why I do not tell you to choose one perfect country. I tell you to understand the world as a network. One country for where you live. One for where you build. One for where you transact. One for where you preserve. One for where you invest. Not because 5 countries are inherently superior, because dependence on one system is the oldest form of vulnerability. You call it international business. I call it the beginning of economic autonomy. Decentralize your life, and no single jurisdiction can define it.